What's up, people? This is Andre, and today we're gonna talk about the new Trump-China tariffs. I'm gonna explain them and try to be the most precise that I can, and also the impact that it's gonna have, especially for dropshippers mainly and for e-commerce sellers that you must know. So the first thing is you need to understand the new tariff landscape. Okay, the thing is that President Trump administration has implemented a new way of tariffs, okay, on Chinese import as part of their economic policy since he started his inauguration in 2025. This built upon previous tariffs that he already established during his past term. But the thing is that now he really wants to be and really focus on everything America and put America's first. And so the thing is that the key points of this current tariff structure is going to include an increased tariffs on a wide range of consumer goods, mostly commonly used in e-commerce, and additional duties, especially targeting electronics, clothing, home goods, and accessories. Those are like categories that Americans are not good at making actually, and that it costs, let's be honest, like everything electronic is coming from China, clothing mostly Vietnam and Mexico, and we're going to talk later about it. But all of those categories, it's like where they have a trading deficit and when the US are actually not doing good with it. The third point is going to be heightened customs scrutiny on packages coming from China. So everybody that is ordering on Temu, Wish, AliExpress, doing typical like drop shipping things, ordering from China, most of their packages are going to get like taxed, or they're going to be more look into it. And you're going to have also a different phase implementation schedule for different product categories. It's not about like, for example, the 15th of April tariff of 20% are going to happen. It doesn't happen like that. It's going to have different grades and a different like implementation in terms of time. And the thing also to not forget is that a lot of people are negotiating behind the scenes. Like, for example, since Trump posted this like video on public speaking about the new tariff and the new landscape, or how is it going to be, you already have the European Union trying to make a deal to not get impacted by tariffs. So this is the things that we know, and how especially it's going to direct impact dropshipping business. I do dropshipping in one of my store, but it's in Europe, so it doesn't going to impact me. For the rest, everything that I do is made in the US. My suppliers are here in the US, and so I'm not going to really see a big difference. I already had, when I created my e-commerce stores, the goal of always to privilege the country where I'm going to do my business, especially because for branding, just a made in America products, it's just going to sell way better. But for people that are actually, and all those people that I see, which still believe in the one product policy, the drop shipping typical thing, they're going to get impacted, but not as much as people think it is. So the first thing that is going to impact is going to be for sure a higher product cost. The most immediate impact is going to be an increased cost. When your Chinese suppliers face high tariff, there is two options. Or they will absorb the cost, but it's very unlikely. Chinese like money and they're not going to do that. Or they're going to pass them on you. So which means that the product cost will increase potentially by 10 to 30% depending on your niche. This is very similar of what happened, for example, a couple of years ago when you were in Europe, you had the VAT, which is kind of a sales tax, but before the Chinese weren't paying the VAT. Now, if you want to do drop shipping from China, you actually pay the VAT. For example, me, that I do business in France, the VAT is 20% straight up, no matter what. And so when I use my supplier in China, I pay the 20% to my supplier that pays straight up the 20% after. So it's like kind of a win-win situation. And at first, everybody was panicking kind of like right now. And then we just adapt as everything. Everybody's like going crazy with the stock market. And like, I had so much like feedbacks and people reaching out to me of like, it's going to go crazy. I'm losing so much money. Most of the people that use money are actually rich people and entrepreneurs. And for people that don't understand how economics things happen, this is for a better good. Of course, everything is going to be impactful at first, but long term, people are going to make more money, and America is going to kind of like make money inside the US, which is what Donald Trump wants. Not talking about politics, but the guy just wants everything better for America. Good businessman. I think that everything that he's doing right now in terms of economics is going to benefit Americans long term, because people don't know about like how the American economy was thriving at some points and was only relying on tariffs. And so a lot of people think that, for example, me as a French, we don't have we don't have American cars in Europe. They're banned mostly, or they're very expensive. And so it's normal for American, I would say, that if you import stuff, that it has to get tariffs, because, like, for example, in China, there is no American product. Chinese don't accept American companies and not American products, which sometimes can be good, sometimes can be bad. Like, Google is banned in China, Facebook is banned in China. There is no American cars in China neither. Like, it doesn't happen like that. So, but let's get back on the video. The second thing is going to be reduced profit margin. So with higher product cost, your profit margin will shrink unless you raise the prices, but this creates a different type of challenging situation. It's like, or you raise prices and you risk losing customer, which can happen, or you maintain prices or you lower the profits. The third impact is going to be, of course, shipping delays, increased custom scrutiny means potential delay in order fulfillment. Actually, not order fulfillment, but more when it comes to the custom, because once it ships to China, it's going to arrive fast to the US, but it might be stopped at the port of entry. So where customer were waiting 1 to 2 weeks now to receive their products, they could wait more 2 to 3 weeks now. Sorry, my bad. When customer have been waiting 1 to 2 weeks for products, now they could wait 2 to 3 weeks or longer, which can cause satisfaction and high refunds rate. The last one is going to be a cash flow challenge. Not a lot of people are talking about a cash flow challenge, but for those who pay supplier upfront, okay, that don't do drop shipping, a higher product cost means more capital tied up into inventory. And so it's creating potential cash flow issue for smaller businesses. Now, the broader e-commerce impact on how those Trump tariffs on China's goods and even international goods in general are going to really impact your e-commerce if you are into that. The main thing is going to be the supply chain distribution. Many e-commerce businesses with established supply chain will need to re-evaluate their sourcing strategies, right? Chinese manufacturers may relocate some operation to other countries to also avoid tariffs. Okay? I've talked to my Chinese suppliers. The thing is that right now their strategy is mainly focusing on Europeans to make more money in Europe because they have great relationship with the EU, the European Union, and like Americans, they still make money. And the thing is that China is a country. If you haven't really exchanged with Chinese people and like traveled to Asia and everything, Chinese are people that are greedy and wants to make money. So they always will find ways to make more money. So like I said earlier, they will absorb the cost, which is very unlikely. But I think it's just that they don't care because they know Americans are still gonna kind of buy from them, because some Chinese people, they make good quality in terms of like shipping, in terms of like just production. They're really faster than Americans. No offense to Americans, you guys do great products, but when we're talking about like everything about effectiveness, the Chinese, they're just better at it. And the fact that they also have different factories in other countries. For example, Vietnam is a big new hub for people doing especially clothing, and also Mexico. There's going to be also an impact on the marketplace competition for my fellow Amazon sellers or TikTok shop sellers. Every seller using domestic suppliers might gain a competitive advantage over those sourcing from China. This is just straight up facts. Even right now, before tariffs, everything that is made in America, if you promote it and market it better, it's just going to bring you more customers because everybody wants American product, and America is so proud of having like good products. The third is going to be the consumer behavior. Why? Because as prices rises across certain product categories, which we said before, home goods, clothing, and everything, consumer purchasing behavior may change. Shoppers, they might become more price sensitive or shift their buying patterns to different product categories that are less affected by tariffs. A lot of those tariffs are going to be impacted on high-end goods like cars and everything, but on your day-to-day basis, a lot of those things you're not really gonna like see them. The other thing is going to be the platform policies. Major e-commerce platform may update their policies and it's going to potentially affect how shipping times are disclosed, especially Shopify. I have one of my sources that work over there that I know they're doing and trying to see how they can, because Shopify for the past years have been increasing their prices on like the money that they take per orders and also on their subscription plans. And so this is a good way for them to like increase the price. Now we're going to talk about how to adapt to these new tariffs, right? The first one is going to be diversifying your supply chains. You cannot only, this is the famous expression, you cannot have your all eggs in one single basket. You need to diversify and have different type of strategies. So diversifying your supply chain is going to be the first one. You have to look into suppliers from other countries that are not that subject to these tariffs, such as, for example, Vietnam, India, or Mexico. If you're doing clothing, I think Mexico and Vietnam is a good way. India, I'm not a big fan. I work with Indians every day. Part of my customer support, which it's not going to impact me, but it's very hard to work with Indian people. Mainly people that work into supplements, with chemicals and everything are going to be impacted because India are kind of the number one in the world to do that. But a lot of like the drugs, let's say your pharmaceutical, whatever, it's from India. The thing and thing that I would suggest is also consider a US-based suppliers for some products, especially those heavily impacted by tariffs, and explore other dropshipping suppliers based in other countries. I'm all in. I'm not a big fan of dropshipping, even though I use dropshipping as a supplier strategy. But even though my products are like, for example, some are in Europe, some are in China, but everything that I do on my e-commerce here in the US, everything is made in the US. That's how I base my strategy, because I just like it better. The quality is good, and like people are just happy to see made in USA on my products, and I never receive, honestly, complaint about the product quality. Now, the second thing is that you can update your pricing strategy. Okay, you have to be selectively increasing prices on products that are most affected tariffs, so your customer kind of like don't really see it. Okay, bundle products together to match the individual price increases, or consider subscription model to lock in customer at the current rates, and so you will have a good cash inflow, and then you're gonna figure it out with the tariffs. Guys, don't forget that tariffs, everybody wants to escape the tariff and they're going to have to negotiate, okay? The EU, not even a week after that he announced that, are already into a deal, making a deal to escape the tariffs, okay? So I'm not a big believer of those tariffs impacted way more than 6 months. I might be wrong, but on everything that I've seen, I don't think so, because the US needs China and the China needs the US, because let's not forget they're the two biggest economies in the world. But the US is still the number one consumption. Chinese don't really consume that much like that. They all love to consume like a product from abroad. You also need to improve other business areas. For example, your marketing, okay, to justify a premium pricing. Improve your customer service to like retain customers despite longer shipping time, for example, and optimize other aspects of your business to maintain overall profitability. The last one is going to be also considering a products mix change. What does it mean? To pivot toward products where categories are less affected, if we can say, by tariff. Also develop unique product to have less direct competition. And the last one is going to be focus on higher margin items that can better absorb those increased costs. Okay. Now, in conclusion, okay, it's going to be very simple, okay? While these tariffs change, it presents a real challenges for e-commerce businesses, let's be honest. If you're working with Chinese supplier, they also create, guys, business opportunities for those willing to adapt, okay? The businesses that will thrive are those that can quickly pivot their strategies, diversifying their supply chain and find creative ways to maintain value for their customers. I'm an e-commerce guy that I'm a big believer. If I wouldn't have launched my businesses while COVID was fully blowing out everywhere, I would have never been as successful. The reason is because we as e-commerce people had to adapt during the COVID situation, and this is what makes us more relentless, more focused, and more successful. if you're selling a product that is like $50 and you increase 20% for your customer to absorb those tariffs, if you explain it good with a good marketing strategies, they're not really gonna see the increase. A lot of people don't see those small increases. Now, if you're selling, let's say, high-end goods, like for example rugs, or like for example sofas or everything, and you're targeting like between products 500 to 1,000, 200 more on the product, yes, you're gonna feel it, right? But on those small, people are not gonna really feel it. Everybody's going nuts to talk about it. I have friends that are like making almost $500 million in sales. 100% of their products are from China. And I talked to the guy and he was like, man, this is just part of business. I'm just going to increase prices here, reduce some costs here, and he's still going to make money at the end of the day. People that have real successful businesses, they're still going to make money. This is why I know everybody is panicking about like, oh, dropshipping is dead because of the new tariffs. Man, if you keep doing dropshipping, this like only product and like kind of like doing ads on TikToks and Facebook and just like focusing on one product and not really creating a brand, yes, you're gonna be really impacted. Now, if you have a community, create a real product, create a real brand, you're gonna find ways to absorb this cost. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you find this information, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you find this information valuable, please like and subscribe for more e-commerce insight. And I'll see you until the next one. See you guys.